off. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, Walters is ripping
I may
ya.
have an interest in... Is he?
I don't know. I'm just vamping. I mean, you tell me if he's ripping you, pal.
I'm just saying, like, no, he's not. But if I'm just going to assume that he's trying to rip me off, and so if he disagrees and he's in the chat already, he can go ahead and type. But I'm just gonna la his response.
I mean, we literally just started
anyway,
streaming. I don't think he's there, but Walters is trying to rip you off. Okay, hit me with what else you got.
God, he's like, I may have an interest in Mark Andrews, and by that I mean I am interested in starting trade talks for Mark Andrews. Anyone on my team that you'd be willing to trade Mr. Andrews for? And you know, you look at his roster. I looked at his roster and I'm thinking, well, I need a tight end back because, you know, Mark Andrews. So I'm thinking maybe he has like a Zach Ertz, Darren Waller, somebody that's just a little bit below the tier that Mark Andrews is in.
Sure.
And then maybe throw in some depth somewhere, because my only wide receivers right now are Deontay Johnson. Well, my only bench wide receivers are Deontay Johnson, Josh Gordon.
Okay.
And that's that. But then I look, and his starting tight end is Austin Hooper. And I was just kind of like, so I would need to trade away Mark Andrews and in return get someone I'm going to drop 3 weeks from now.
I mean, it sounds like he's just trading for a tight end and not necessarily giving you one.
Right, he's just wanting a trade. True. And so, but, you know, I'd want something back in return, and he had two already, so because he had Jonnu Smith on his bench. I'd rather have Jonnu over...
Jonnu?
Hooper. Yeah.
What is he trading a tight end for? He's got Jonnu.
Well, first off, that was going to be my response to him, but in the end, I said no. Kept it pretty civil. I wanted to type up an essay and explain why he's wrong, but he really didn't deserve it.
Oh, wow, Josh. Are you sick right now? Woo!
No.
Did you see this deal that Robert Woods just got? I wish I made that kind of money.
Very consistent.
I guess I have no memory of whether it's consistent or not, but 4 years, 68 million, 32 million guaranteed. So what
he's getting paid more than Devontae Adams.
I mean, when did Devontae sign his contract, though? I mean, any year these get signed, they go up. So if he signed his deal 2-3 years ago, then for sure. So I mean, what is that though? That's 17 a year on average, 32 guaranteed.
Yeah. No, I remember he signed a 4-year, $58 million extension. And that was in the end of 2017.
So your guys are about to have to pay him, huh? Tough, dude. Him or Jordan Love. Can only afford one of the two.
Well, it was an extension.
So, I mean, I guess it depends how much longer he had on his deal. That's true.
Yeah.
I would say it is fair to assume that he only had a year or two left. You normally don't get extended on like the first or second year of your rookie deal. Or whatever deal you're on at that moment.
I believe he's a free agent in 2022, so...
Aight.
By then the salary cap, you know, people will be like, well, how's Minnesota so affording all these people? And they'll be like, you know what? We've been lying. There is no salary cap.
Yeah, so salary cap's a fucking myth, dude. It's also hilarious that no one understands how this, extensions work. Be like, how are they paying Dalvin Cook $60 million right now? Well, dumbass, it's an extension, so he's actually still only on his rookie deal this year. Oh, good sponsor for the Fan Tasty right there, pal.
Oh yeah.
You came, Josh. I gotta say, this might be the most prepared week I've seen you be in a while.
Well,
you started doing notes on Monday. I mean, you got sponsors ready. You were here on time.
We didn't have a preseason, so much like the NFL, I had to get warmed up and ready to go. So, you know, it took a couple weeks.
I mean, we did have it. We had 4 weeks of a preseason. But... Oh, God. Do I know how to do all this? Oh, no. What's going on, everybody? It is September 18th, 2020. It is a Friday Night Lights edition of the Hidden Oaks Overdose Football Fix podcast. It's going to be.
I'm going to go ahead. I'm sorry to cut you off, but I'm just going to
cold
go ahead and coin the term, something I've never heard before, but I want to call this our Friday football feast.
Oh, wow. Okay, well, Josh, I appreciate you contributing to the cold open. We normally don't bring you in just yet, but Josh, since you're talking, are we feeling happy or are we feeling rocky today?
Well, how about since we are doing our Fave Five sports movies, we do a little bit rocky.
Rocky, you got it, pal. All right. We got a good show for you guys, but first we're going to let our friend Walters just take it away here. Walters, what do you got, pal?
Welcome to the Hidden Oaks Overdose Football Fix with your lovely hostesses, Garlic Johnson.
We're going to need to take a break here while I change my pants.
And Josh Mitchell.
Sitting here undefeated in everything I do, except fantasy football. No, I'm not allowed to handle crayons.
Not after last time.
Not after last time.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, Garlic and Josh.
Thank you so much, Walters. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Hidden Oaks Overdose Football Fix podcast. I am one of your lovely hostesses, the Garlic Johnson. I am joined by your other lovely hostess, the Joshua Mitchell. Josh, you already did, but say hi to the folks, please.
Hi, folks.
Nailed it. HiddenOaksOverdose@gmail.com, Facebook.com/hoodpod, Anchor.fm/hoodpod is all the places you can interact with us. Segment start times are down in the description below of the audio pod. YouTube, you're kind of fucked over, but it's the way she goes. Levi Oki Illustration, thank you so much for the beautiful art that everyone can see on the stream or on the audio. Josh, I wanted that to go quick today. We are getting out of here in under an hour. It's my vow to God. How you doing today, pal?
I'm doing good. I mean, I honestly wish that it was closer to last Sunday than this Sunday, because then I could sit here and gloat a little bit more than I'm going to.
I'm glad we had that cool down period. We'll talk about it. But all right, pal. I predicted it everywhere. Fuck off. I knew.
Know you did. I know you did. But yeah, I'm doing well.
That's good. How's the fam doing? The puppers. I haven't seen the puppers in so long. I'm almost going through a little bit of a withdrawal without them jumping on me every week. Kaya's
doing what Kaya does. She's Kaya, and Odin is, well, I think he's still around.
Out being a dildo somewhere?
No. Be nice. Those are my puppers. But yeah, no, they're doing well. Nikita's doing fine. It's her birthday on Monday. So happy early birthday, Nikita. They're even throwing a celebration called Monday Night Football.
In her honor?
I believe so.
Wow. It's probably going to be another parade for how she performed in the podcast play-along challenge. They're probably celebrating her success, if I had to guess.
I would.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a little bit as well. But Josh, so in the chit chat today, we won't waste everyone's time, but I did notice you had put your own note in the chit chat. Josh, what do you got here?
Oh, hang on. Yeah, I believe that everybody's well aware of the podcast wars. If not, they'll learn about it in 10th grade history class. And so right now we are experiencing a podcast war 3. Podcast World War III. Yep, there we go. But I don't know. I mean, this would be like Germany in its prime going up against France, maybe? I don't know. France.
Hold 1 second here. Are you saying we're Germany? Because I'm not sure I want to be the Germany in this podcast.
How about this?
War
well,
scenario.
No, I mean, here it is.
Okay, yep.
We're the Americans, and they're the Ruskies.
Oh, the Ruskies. Oh, no, pal.
And it's like Red Dawn over here. Actually, I've never seen that movie, so I don't know if America wins, but I'm just assuming we're still here, so they do. But Walters and Jack have started their own satirical podcast, and the reason I call it a satire is because they feel that they should bless our ears with their fantasy knowledge, despite both of them battling it out for last place last season in the Victoria's Secret League. So I call it a satire podcast.
That's a tough pill to swallow if I were either one of them. Luckily, they won't listen to this, but if I were them, I would not be happy with you saying that about them. They are usually lovely to us 95% of the time.
Which is just strange because I tell him all of this stuff off the air too.
Well, I'll say Jack is nice to me 97.8% of the time. He's never really been mean to me, but I just don't know him well enough to give him that hundo P. But I could say Walters, as he's been coming more, as the Moss Squad's been birthing this and that, Walters is getting a little more chippy, a little more sassy. I'd say Walters is nice to me. We'll go 73% of the time currently. And trending in the wrong direction.
But overall, I wish them the best of luck. I hope it doesn't end like the last one where week 4 happened and, well, week 5 didn't. So yeah, how are you? Any chit chat for you?
Josh, I mean, I'm blessed. I think you've asked me how I am 2 weeks in a row. This is incredible. This is a great feeling. Please don't delete all that. You can delete your note. But anyways, I don't have any chit chat for myself. I'm doing great. I had a little bit of a stressful episode last Friday, but we won't get into it. Everything's good now, I think. But for chit chat, we have we'll have our podcast stream chat is just blowing up. There's a total of 2 people blowing up the chat. We got Walters and Brian in there, both watching along live. Walters says hi. Josh smells. Brian says hi. And then Ryan Walters says words are tough, TUF tough. And then Walters picked up on the same thing I did. He said, you guys are Nazis. Then he said, how many ships have you been in VS? I think it's 1 for you. So I think he's saying he's been in more ships than you. And
how many has he won?
Well, he answered his question. He said just 1. And then... So he's helping build my point here with the last comment I could read in the chat right now. He says 73%? Fuck off. Well, Walters, now you're down to 71% after that fuck off. I mean, I don't know if you understand how sassiness works, but you're going the wrong way, pal.
Welcome to my level. If you lose about 70%, Walters, you'll be tied with me at 1.
Oh, Christ. All right, so that's enough chit chat. That's enough intro, Josh. Let's hop right into our fan tasty zone. And Josh, you've got some sponsors. I can see you cracking something there. What do you got for the sponsorship of the fan tasty zone?
I've got a brewed in Minnesota, St. Paul area cabin crusher, Kolsch style ale with lime. Summit.
Kolsch? Did you say Kolsch style? What the hell is that? What does that mean?
I just assumed they don't know how to spell cold, but.
I gotta say, that can is a fourth of the size of the can you had last time. I'm a little disappointed.
Well, I got in trouble last time because when I drank it all and I went out there, ended up throwing the dishes on the ground, angry, because they weren't the size of my beer can. I felt like a giant. I was like, why are these plates so small? Turns out it was a dessert plate.
Tough, dude. All right, well, I still got
Hey, I'm not done.
Oh, sorry, sir. Please, continue.
I've also got one of the world's loudest bags, it seems, but they are goldfish grams. Don't tell my wife I have them because we found these and opened them last week and we almost ate the entire bag. And I'm going to do that right now so she doesn't get any more.
So, but what are they again? I don't know. Did you say?
They're s'mores flavored goldfish grams.
I will admit they're not the same thing, but the word gram reminds me. I've been craving some Teddy Grahams lately.
Yes. Oh
For
my
some
God, I was
reason,
just thinking that too.
I think I heard him talking about him on the Power Trip like a week or 2 ago. I think it was maybe an answer in the initials, and I've been craving them ever since. Some honey and some cinnamon.
I was just gonna say if you don't get the cinnamon, you're wrong. You can go. I mean,
honey's pretty good too, pal.
Honey is good, but cinnamon,
Right. Anyways, it's our vow to get out here in under an hour. I got the half and half Southern style. Fall's here, but I'm going to keep drinking the Southern style that reminds me of summer while I can. Let's get the inaugural sip in for the show. And I won't be eating these during the pod because I've already plowed through the bag. But a new chip I've discovered recently is Ruffles Double Crunch Hot Wings. They're so double crunch. They're like real thick, crunchy chips. And they're delicious. And I'm pretty sure I ate this entire bag yesterday. I'm not proud of it, but they are good. So it's not quite the Hot Buffalo Snyder's pretzels, but kind of a similar heat profile. So if you're looking for a good crunchy chip, I'd highly recommend those. Anyways, Fan Tasty Zone, we only got the one, we got actually plenty of fan interaction this week. Shout out to the fans, but most of it's for our new segment tonight, the Fave Five. So only one email for the Fan Tasty Zone. It comes from, guess, Josh, who do you think you got an email from? But I'm going to read the Fan Tasty Zone.
Brian?
You nailed it, pal. All right.
Well, I think I filled out the notes and I put Brian before he even sent the email. To be honest.
Yeah, we just assume. We appreciate it, Brian, by the way, because otherwise the segment would be pretty dead. It would be Josh and I coming in with fake phone calls again, which we might still do anyways. But yeah. Brian writes, subject line, Hoodcast 99. Gentlemen, as always, I listen to the latest Hoodcast, and I don't say this lightly, as you know how I feel about language. What the fuck was that? 2-minute drill? It was like an NBA playoff game where 2 minutes last an hour. Let's be a bit more prepared, folks. And then he puts Josh in parentheses there. So tough, dude. He's calling you out. Also,
well, Brian, I am not prepared this week, so good luck. You can fast forward if you want. It's only a minute.
Also, believe it or not, like most of your 20 followers, I like to watch live. Shout out to Brian, proving himself true. He's watching live. I was teed up at 6, but the show was half over. Love the grum. Brian, phone, email, CVS code, 3 digits. And then he also put Go Giants in reference to the bet him and I made. Words are hard, Walters. Words are tough. And then I replied to his email, but it's not. I was basically just let him know we're doing Friday today, and we always say go live at 5, even though it hasn't really happened, except today is the first day we went live right at 5. But it's what we've always said, so I don't know why you would tune in at 6, Brian. Very ignorant of you. Very silly. But that's it. That's all we got. No, nothing too spicy, except for he called you out, Josh. So I mean, you said you're not prepared. Your 2-minute drill is going to be worse this week than it was last week.
Well, I don't even remember last week's, so. Probably.
Yikes. All right. Well, we can go ahead.
Well, first off, I was laughing because the song you picked just
well, Josh,
blew my mind.
Well, again, you gave me that song as an option. You basically begged me to pick that song. Let's be clear about that. And that'll wrap up the Fans Tasty Zone. Nothing else is popping off in the chat, so we will just keep moving. This is the 2-minute drill, Josh. I got to write down the segment start time, because otherwise I have to go back and do it later, and then I post the podcast later, and then people complain. But anywho, the 2-minute drill. So, spoiler, Josh, you mentioned the song I picked for you last week. I did not do a new audio file, so we have the same exact song audio file this week. So you're gonna have to be the Cat Circus at least 2 more times. Is that acceptable? Are you gonna be okay with that?
I can live with it now that I'm prepared.
All right, so you've got the Cat Circus twice, and I'll have to go first twice. I like to switch it up, but I just got lazy this week and didn't do a new audio file. So, Josh, it's a 2-minute drill. Let's not waste our time. We are going to recap week 1 and then preview week 2. We each get 1 minute for each of those things. 4 minutes total, 2 minutes each. Break it down however you want. I'll go first. Whistle, I talk, whistle, whistle, you talk, whistle. That's how it'll go twice. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right. I hope this audio is loud enough. And here we go. All right. I knew it was coming. I predicted it in all my pick'em pools. I predicted it in my 256. But goddamn if it didn't hurt to watch the Packers just absolutely obliterate the Minnesota Vikings. My soul hurts. I faded the Vikings this year, but it doesn't make it any easier. I'm going to tune this down just a bit. But God, it hurt to watch. Week 1 is always fluky. I know we've said that in many past pods, but week 1's fluky. We're going to see some things we'll never see again this year in that week, so don't get attached to things you saw. Cardinals are coming, like I said. Chargers are undefeated. The Colts not so much yet, but the Jacksonville Jaguars aren't defeated. Brady looks rusty, but I predicted a slow start for the Bucs, so I'm thinking the Bucs are still coming. And I still got 10 seconds, so again, just shout out to the Minshew Mania. He pointed up to the owner's box. He said, hey, Shad Khan, Tony Khan, tank this bitch. Fuck you. There we go.
There we go. All right. So, Packers Vikings, Gar covered it. He did predict it. I actually predicted a Vikings win at home, but rookie power for Green Bay. And the reason I say rookie power is because the couple plays that I watched, Alan Lazard's end around, Jason Nagara led the way. That, by the way, is that 3rd-round tight end fullback that we drafted that I was just like, what the hell are they thinking? Turns out he knows how to throw blocks. Also, Jordan Love played the same number of snaps as the 2 first-round picks for the Minnesota Vikings up until halftime. Very interesting stat there. Probably contributed about as much as them, too, overall. Anyways, going on, is PR the problem? Gar, PR? Phillip Rivers, wherever he goes, losing happens. I'm just saying. And preseason, shmee season. Who needs preseason with all the points scored this week? Baltimore, Kansas City, Green Bay. I mean, those are just a few of the big scores this week. Anyways.
There you go. Way to play to the whistle, not through the whistle, Josh. We appreciate it. All right, Josh, are you ready to preview week 2? This is supposed to be a fast segment, but I just want to make sure you're ready.
Yes.
Okay, you look like you froze there for a second. All right, here we go. Week 2. Starting at week 2, I already talked about Minshew, but I have a feeling that if Gardner Minshew leads the Jacksonville Jaguars to another improbable victory, the cons that I already mentioned are going to go personally break the shins of Gardner Minshew and probably shave off his mustache just so he loses his mojo. A mojo Jojo if you're a Powderpuff Girls fan. The Vikes will probably lose again. We are playing in Indianapolis. Obviously, Josh said he predicted a Vikings win at home, but we ain't got no fans. And you don't want to make excuses, but obviously everyone knows our fans make a difference. Maybe it means we're bad because we rely on our fans. But anyways, week 2, it's not a preview, but I respect the hell out of Joe Burrow. His performance last night was incredible. He looked poised. He looked respectable. That man has a bright career ahead of him unless the Bengals ruin him. Sunday night looks interesting. Seattle, New England. Who the hell knows what's going to happen, Josh? I sure don't, but I am going to be glued to my television.
So, looking at the notes here, I typed this up prior to last night's game where I said Cincinnati, Cleveland. I'm coming out honest here. I said barf. I expected it to be one of those just absolutely blindfold pissing contests where people are just twirling around. Turns out there was some actually decent offense. Nick Chubb, Creon, both scored a pair of touchdowns. Awesome. Anyways, moving on, I am excited for the weekend. I haven't looked at any of the games because I did not expect to have to do 2-minute preview for the upcoming week. I thought we tied it into our first one. Anyways, Garlic, I see your face right now. Brian, I apologize for this segment.
Brian would like to let you know that the clown music goes with the bandana.
It's not a bandana, it's a headband. Have some class.
All right, well, Josh is done, but we're going to let this music play out. Enjoy it.
I mean, I think we should have it be our background music for the rest of the show.
Oh, Christ. All right, well, that was the 2-minute drill, Josh. Yes, we have stated it many times, but we do 2 minutes for the week before and 2 minutes for the next week.
I have no idea why I didn't think about that. Because I guess when I was looking at it, I saw recap week 1 2-minute drill, and then I saw the preview week 2, but I thought that was an entirely separate header for some reason.
You know, it must be the bold font and the different font size that really throws you there. I can see how you confuse the two.
Yeah, there's highlighting, and then there's actually punctuation, which just throws me off regardless. So,
all right, well, that was a 2-minute drill, folks. We took 4 of our old segments, smashed them down into just that. Let's move on to what's this segment, Josh? What have we dubbed it?
The Fantasy Fun Time.
Wow, really bringing the pizzazz this week, Josh. We start.
Well, I feel like I let Brian down, and I lost all pizzazz because of it.
I mean, he did roast you in the chat with the clown music thing, but I mean, you just gotta hit him with the hard rest of the show, and I think he'll be proud of you. Maybe you'll get a glowing review at the end. Maybe he'll do 5 out of 5 would recommend. Hopefully, Brian
Is this what Vikings fans feel like?
Yes, every day of our lives. Oh, but before the Fantasy Fun Time starts, I forgot about the YouTube thing, Josh. I think when you created this note sheet, you did it from an old one that didn't mention the YouTube thing, so I forgot to mention it. It's my bad. But we are at 22 out of 100 subscribers, so we've gone up 2 since last week. Be a friend, tell a friend, journey to a hundy. We want that custom URL. But let's hop into the Fantasy Fun Time. We always start with the grain of salt, Josh. And we have the Hidden Oaks highlights to talk more about many of our specific matchups. But just briefly, I'm technically in 7 fantasy leagues, but I am only trying in 5 of them. I'm in 3 dynasty leagues, and in 2 of the dynasty leagues, I have decided that my teams are TRBL terrible. And so I am intentionally tanking in those 2 leagues. Some would say I'm pissing away $90, but you don't win the pot unless you win 2 years in a row. So I'm banking on myself being successful next year and T not winning the Hidden Oaks one this year. Neither here nor there. Anyways, of the 7 leagues I'm in, I'm only trying in 5. And so of that 5, I won 3 games and I lost 2. So I went 3-2 in my first week, 60% winning percentage. One of my losses was real close. The only loss that was real bad was in the redraft league, but we can talk about that in the Hidden Oaks highlights. Josh, how'd you do in your first week? What's your grain of salt, pal?
Oof. I just want to say that this might have been my best overall week of fantasy ever. Like, I know last year I had a couple like 6-0, 7-0 weeks, I think, or however many leagues I was in, maybe 1 or 2. But even though I went 5-1 this week, my overall record between every game, 63-6 for a 91% win.
Oh.
I was a league high in 3 leagues. And it's funny because the only player in common on all 3 of those teams was J.K. Dobbins on my bench. So maybe he has some special powers. I have no idea.
So you got to leave him on the bench is what I'm hearing.
But yeah, no, I even got to pick the eye candy in the Victoria's Secret League.
Ooh, child. What'd you pick?
I picked Gardner Minshew as he's getting off the airplane with his chest hair hanging out in the sparkly suit. Yeah, that's my eye candy. We lost in the Bunker Family League, but overall, it was a pretty solid week.
Did you survive the Guillotine League? Sounds like you did.
I was the high scorer.
Oh, Josh, la-di-da, pal.
Yeah, no, I was the high scorer in the Guillotine, the Hidden Oaks Dynasty, Hidden Oaks Redraft, and Victoria's Secret.
Yeah, I forgot about this whole thing that I stole that you didn't even do last year, but the intellectual property of Joshua Allen Bunker Incorporated. I went 39-18 against every team in every league that last week. So not as good as you, but I did not bad myself. All 3 of my victories were blowouts for sure.
Nice.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, that is a grain of salt.
So just quick. So you think the Guillotine League, you were the high scorer week 1, but do you think that's going to continue? Or do you just get a bunch of touchdowns, or are you going to make it to the ship in this thing? How do you feel about the Guillotine team?
I'm going to have to change my roster up a little bit because I saw A.J. Brown is out now. But I had Kareem Hunt go last night, and he did solid for me. Since it's full point PPR, I think he got 24. Overall, I didn't pick anybody up, but hey, I don't need to.
All right. Yeah, it definitely sounds like you don't. All right. So the top performers of the week, Josh, I bet there's a 0% chance you have that pulled up.
I do, actually.
Is that why you're pulling it up right now?
I had ESPN open. I had accidentally closed it. But
okay. Well, I'll start with all offensive players because I think this is interesting because we always talk about quarterbacks always being the highest scorers every year. But of the top 5, just overall, any position, there's only one quarterback. It's Devonta Adams, Josh Jacobs, Calvin Ridley, Russell Wilson, then Adam Thielen. Those are the top 5 in our full PPR league. So I thought that was interesting. Only one QB. And before we get too deep down the rabbit hole, I know Brian will get testy if we don't acknowledge his existence every 10 seconds. So in the chat, he said, it's not a roast, your whole headband matching the clown music thing. He said it's a compliment, and it's hard to match headwear to clown music. So Josh, he's complimenting you, not tearing you down. So I hope you feel that way.
Good.
All right, so the quarterbacks then. I've already mentioned the top 1. We got Russell Wilson up top. Then Aaron Rodgers was the QB2 of the week. Josh Allen 3, Lamar Jackson 4, and Kyler Murray 5. Did you have any of those people in your lineups this week, Josh?
Well, I had Devonta Adams and Calvin Ridley in the Hidden Oaks redraft.
Ooh, okay.
Hopkins is in the Victoria's Secret League.
I had. Yep. Go on.
Oh, you're just talking top 5? Yeah,
I was just talking about the. Oh, well, I was just talking about the top 5 QBs right there, but also that.
Oh, whoops.
Would be nice if you paid attention, pal. Who are the top 5 running backs, Josh? This was your
top
segment.
Top 5 running backs. We have Josh Jacobs with 36, CMC with 28.5, Zeke with 28, and Malcolm Brown. Yes, folks. Oh no, Nyheim Hines. Wow, I skipped one.
Show a little respect for the Hines, dude.
And Malcolm Brown, 26.
Proud of you, Josh. For the wide receivers, we've already mentioned a couple of them. Devonta Adams, 41.6. Calvin Ridley, 33.9. Adam Thielen, how you doing, pal? Detroit Lakes, 31. The Hop, 29.1. And then Darius Slayton, wide receiver 5 on the week in full PPR with 28.2. Josh, let's hear about those tight ends.
We've got Dallas Goedert, the Philadelphia tight end no one owned. Then we got he had 24. Then Mark Andrews with 23. Noah Fant with 19. Travis Kelce with 17. And then TJ Hawkesaki with 16.6.
The Hawk man himself right there.
And then the 6th highest, even though it doesn't matter, David Njoku, who's now on IR.
Yeah, dude,
So don't pick him up.
Tough week for the Njokes for sure.
Hey, Guard, do you want to hit us up with them defenses?
I didn't plan on it. I'd already changed my pace.
Yeah, no, nobody wants to. I just found it funny that Washington was the tied for first.
I mean, they destroyed the Eagles.
Well,
so
yeah, we'll get into that.
All right, Josh. But so that was the top performers of the week, in case anyone cares. Josh, you threw a little curveball in here this week. Why don't you talk to the folks about your little brainchild here, pal?
Yeah, so I figured to ruin Gar's prediction of keeping us under an hour, I figured I'd add another segment.
We'll be fine.
Actually, just kidding. I've always liked the idea of having it be more of a general fantasy, just to keep people interested instead of our league altogether. And so this is something I dubbed Ascend or Anchor. And so really just messing around with studs and duds, changing the name up a little bit. But Ascend is somebody who will take your team to the next level, likely a waiver or a bench player, over somebody who would be currently starting in your lineup. And then Anchor is somebody who's going to drag you down, might be worth selling. So somebody that you might have starting or on your bench that you should just get rid of before they implode, a la Antonio Brown with the Raiders. Anyways.
Yikes.
Guard, do you want to go ahead and lead us off?
I would love to lead us off. So what I got for an Ascension, I mean, it's no hot take. He's already been picked up on all the waiver wires and all the leagues are in. But Malcolm Brown, if anyone watched the Rams game against Dallas last week, that it was all Malcolm Brown all the time for the running game. I don't care about snap counts. I don't care about carries or yards or whatever. If you watch that game, not knowing anything else, you saw Malcolm Brown dominating and none of the other running backs doing anything that significant. So Malcolm Brown, definitely a guy you'd want on your squad. Then I put down Logan Thomas as well, the tight end for Washington, the Washington football team specifically. He saw some high usage. He was getting plenty of targets. And so if Terry McLaurin's going to be triple covered all game, every game, Dwayne Haskins has to throw the ball to someone. He might even still not be owned in some of your leagues. So Logan Thomas is an ascending player that I wouldn't mind having at least on my bench, if not starting, because Blake Jarwin let me down in a league or two.
I had Josh Kelly, somebody that we'd both kind of been hyping up before last week, but he had 2 touchdowns.
We knew. Just saying.
Yeah, put that in your pipe and smoke it, world. Anyways.
Boom.
Jackson went down. He's banged up. He only had 2 carries last week, so I don't know if he had 2 before the injury and then he just got hurt, or if he had 2 and then Kelly came in, started doing well, and Jackson tripped on the sideline. Anyways, Kelly had double-digit carries, 2 touchdowns, seemed to get a lot of the goal line work, so I like his production at that point. Now, is he going to be starting over like CMC or Zeke or even somebody like Kareem Hunt? Probably not. But for a flex play on a bye week, I'd take him. And then,
certainly.
And then Chenault. I'm not going to try LaVisca.
LaVisca is how it's. If you were to just read it, that's how you would sound it out for sure. Is LaVisca.
All right, LaVisca Chenault. He's probably not owned in many of your leagues unless it's a deep league. But he got, even though Minshew threw the ball 20 times, 5 of those times were towards Chenault. He got 40 yards and a score. So if they're ever in a shootout and he gets quarter of the targets, you're going to like that outcome.
It's true.
Now, moving on to the anchors, the ones that are going to drag you down. I only had one just because it's early in the season. Obviously, don't want to overreact to things, as Garlic has put it in his note. But I said Wentz. He's been a turnover machine the last few years, always injured, yet he's still on a roster. Granted, it's Jesse's roster, so he probably did it out of some sort of
Python, gotta stick together. Us Python.
Yeah. Yeah. One semester. Good job.
It was more than one semester. I mean, he was probably there for 2 or 3. Let's give him a chance here, pal.
I guess. But guys who are owned less than him, and this is just an average: Matt Stafford, Cam Newton, Kirk Cousins, Gardner Minshew, Teddy Bridgewater, and Ryan Tannehill, all of which put up more points than Wentz did last week.
Yeah, I mean, Gardner, I think he's got a tough matchup this week. I think it's Tennessee, but then after that, Gardner's got like 4 cake matchups. If Gardner's unowned in your league, you should probably snipe that kid up for the next couple weeks, if not this week as well. But yeah, I mean, I was fading Wentz just for the reason he has he finished. Did he finish last season? I don't remember.
No.
Yeah, so dude just can't do
Actually,
it.
I don't know either.
Well, we'll say he didn't because that fits our narrative. But for my anchors, Josh, I put down a couple of running backs that are really worrying me. So Le'Veon Bell, despite the fact that I was pretty much fading him all year, I did end up drafting him in one of my leagues. Thankfully, I had a couple of running backs already, so I'm not relying on Le'Veon Bell. I put down Nick Chubb in the notes. That was before last night's game, and boy, do I feel just fine about Nick Chubb now. Suck my dick, T. But then also Mark Ingram, you gotta monitor that situation. Josh already alluded to J.K. Dobbins, and definitely seems like he got plenty of the workload. It's hard to say whether I didn't watch the game, so I don't know if Mark Ingram was just unsuccessful before they put Dobbins in, or because they were absolutely steamrolling the Brownies. They're like, all right, let's see what this Dobbins kids can do. So they just rested Ingram. I don't know. I'll probably have a better idea this week, but definitely Mark Ingram as a guy who I have a lot of shares of. He's in a lot of he's on a lot of my fantasy rosters. So I'm not going to cut ties just yet because after 1 week I would never do that. But I'm watching Mark Ingram closely. He's on a tight leash.
Splendid.
Do you think that's something we're going to do every week, Josh, or do you just want to try and see how it went?
I just wanted to try it, kind of like a wine tasting, swish it around a bit and then spit it out. But Bell is on the IR now, so he's probably a good anchor.
Yep, that's true. Well, yeah. I mean, at this point, if he's on the IR, though, unless you've got a 5-person bench like us, you could probably roster him just to see what he does when he comes back. But, yeah, he's don't save him over someone actually good. I'll say that.
Okay, now moving on. I don't know why we're doing a budget bunch because FanDuel's canceled.
Oh, so Josh, I noticed you put that in the notes. So we got rid of a bunch of other things this year, so we're doing the podcast play along challenge through FanDuel. But you put down the FanDuel thing is canceled. What does that mean? What are you talking about?
It's canceled. There's FanDuel shut down. It's
really?
I didn't. In the United States.
Did this just happen like right as the show started? Because I mean,
no, it happened Sunday afternoon. I was trying to change my lineup, and I got a notification that said, "Sorry, bud, no can doozies."
You're trying to change your lineup. Well, why'd you set it bad in the first place?
Gar, do you have my thing turned down low so if I scream, it doesn't blow people's eardrums?
I sure can right now. In 3, 2, you are down if you want to scream.
Why do people get injured?
That's. I was expecting more, but yeah, I mean you had a tough show.
I have a couple dogs, and yeah. Well, I expected a shootout between the greatest of all time, Tom Brady, and Drew Brees. Turns out Tom Brady didn't want to play football, so he just let them manhandle him.
Josh, if you listen to anything I've been saying this whole time, the Bucs are going to start slow. Give them a couple weeks, then they'll be shooting into the playoffs, okay?
Tom Brady's a week 17 type of player. That's when he's going to really shine.
He plays his best football in December. I mean, what do you want from me, pal?
Got to make it there first, Pops.
But anywho, we are doing the FanDuel podcast play along challenge, and let's not sugarcoat it in any way. Let's not take any credit. Nikita Mitchell, your wife, and Mitchell21, as her username reads, slaughtered the rest of the competition. She had a total of 166.9 fantasy points out of, 10 starters, 9 starters? I don't even know off the top of my head, but she dominated this field. Nikita has found her calling. I bet she wishes now that there was more money on the line. And if you were to go scroll all the way down, I'm not even sure my computer can scroll this low, but if you're going to go all the way down to number 19, because one of the participants didn't want to set a lineup week 1, Josh, you can you read? I don't know if you have it up there, but can you read who's at number 19 there in the FanDuel standings?
Well, I'll read who's in last place. Connor.
Okay, well, but I'm saying 19. Who's in number 19 there? I'm pointing at my screen. It's not very good for podcasts because you haven't seen it on the camera, but I'm pointing to who's that at 19 there?
Me.
Oh, Josh, you scored.
My wife outscored me by 100 points.
Yeah, I was gonna say your wife almost tripled your score. She crippled you with her fucking score. 64, Josh. That's TUF tough, as they would say on the land of 10,000 plus goons. Does that sting?
A bit. Both of the wide receivers I thought were going to have big games got hurt. They're both doubtful for this week too. So nobody picked Chris Godwin or Mike Thomas.
All right, so just going through the top 5 because we're going to list off how everyone finished. But Jack came in second with 147.1. Jesse, some fucking how, came in third with 145.6. T, the shit abyss himself, 139.02 in fourth. And then Jacob Milcheski, a guy no one else knows but me, used to work with him at the Wells, 137.1. And an honorable mention in seventh, Josh, a guy who literally doesn't know that football is a sport. Levi Oki, the guy who fucking drew our fucking podcast art, he performed better than both of us because I came in 14th.
Well, like I said in a text message, these people are going to think that they're so smart before they realize that we went out and we picked just players we knew were going to do bad to give them an advantage. We call it the handicap week.
Is that what we call it, pal?
No, that's what I'm calling it to make myself feel better.
I appreciate that. So, Josh, moving on to this week, have you already entered your lineup? Have you already put in your entry for this week?
I have.
Okay, so tell us who you got so we can make sure to avoid all those cancers you currently have in your lineup. Or you don't have to list off the whole thing, but just like, who is a guy you like? And then we'll do the budget bunch in a second. But who is in your lineup that you really like this week?
Well, I'm very high on Marlon Mack this week.
Oh, are you, pal?
No. I'm not going to tell you who I have in my lineup. I need to make up some ground, folks.
We're giving them the budget bunch already, so we're telling them guys we like for cheap. What would be the big deal just giving us like one nugget out of your lineup? Because I'm going to give one nugget. I'm not going to sit here and be a stooge.
All right, you go first, because I forget who I put in my lineup.
All right. Well, so I really like... This is going to sting a little bit, Josh, but now that I said that, you know what's coming. I've got Aaron Rodgers. $7,900 going up against the depleted Detroit defense. From what I hear, and I haven't researched this myself, but from what I hear, they have 3 of their corners are out. So that's going to be a TUF tough, a woof, as we used to say. I've been listening to other podcasts. I say other things, so that's all I got in my brain. TUF tough, but a woof for the Lions there. And so the Packers could probably dominate this game on the ground, but if Rodgers is going on his fuck you tour, as I've heard a lot of people call it, I see him lighting up this defense. So for 7,900, I got Aaron Rodgers leading my FanDuel squad this week. Josh, give us one nugget out of yours, pal.
Well, if you went with somebody from the division, I'm going to go with someone from the division, and I put Adam Thielen, the one and only wide receiver in Minnesota after last week, apparently.
Hey, man, BC Johnson had like 2-3 catches. Show a little respect.
Yeah, no, but he's available for 7,300 against Indy. Phillip Rivers likes to pass. The only thing here is that Indy's defense necessarily isn't the best. So if Vikings get up early, they're going to run the ball. And who knows? This is probably going to be the week that Kirk throws the ball 11 times again. But if it's anything like last week, 9 of the 11 are going to be towards Thielen.
Could be. All right, Josh, let's move on to the budget bunch. So we're just going to rapid fire throw players out there. Players that you can, if you're struggling because you wanted to pick all the studs this week and you got your flex to fill or another wide receiver or something to fill, these are guys in the budget bunch you can get for $5,200 or less. in your lineup. So this one's a little bit less now that James Conner's a full go, but yeah, I see you're bolding, Josh. Easy, pal. But Benny Snell is still currently available for 4,600. We don't know if James Conner's going to be, slowed or not, or on a snap count or whatnot, but Benny Snell 4,600 is not bad in your flex. We got Malcolm Brown, guy we've talked about a lot tonight, 5,200 on the dot. And then the guy Josh really liked 2-3 years ago that's really done nothing even that year, but has done nothing since. Keelan Cole had a good first showing for the Jacksonville Jaguars. He's currently available for 4,800. He's a wide receiver, in case that's not clear to people who don't know, because again, this guy's a no-name to just about everybody, but he wouldn't be a bad flex or wide receiver 3 play for $4,800. Josh, who do you got in your budget bunch? Rapid fire.
I've got Scotty Miller, Tampa Bay slot receiver, who Tom Brady seemed to love week 1. Tom Brady, white receivers in the slot, name a more iconic duo. He is currently worth 5,200. Next, I have MVS, Marquez Valdez-Scantling. Mr. Drops himself. He drops it like it's hot. He's worth 5,100, but Rodgers still targeted him even after 2 horrendous drops that I probably could have caught. And then lastly, I have a yuck. San Francisco 49ers rookie wide receiver, 4,900. First game of the season for him. Didn't play last week. Kittle's out, so I would imagine he's going to have a big game if they need to throw the ball.
All right, Josh, we're going to then move on. That is our fantasy fun time. We're moving on to the Hidden Oaks highlights, and we want to fly through this because we want plenty of time for the Fave Five, brand new segment tonight. But the Hidden Oaks highlights, this segment isn't going to be really anything special until we get closer to playoff season. But Josh, the side bet for week 1 was how'd you draft? And in some sort of pyramid, schemey way, Josh won. The side bet itself was the most players over 11 points, so it had to be 11.1 or higher, and so Josh won that side bet. Well, I guess it would be 11.0. But anyways, you get it. Over 11. And Josh won. So fuck you, Josh. You drafted well, I guess. You had a dominant performance we'll talk about in a sec. But side bet for this week is Benchwarmer, the team with the highest scoring bench player. So if you're someone who's out there and you've already decided, wow, my team kind of stinks this year, Bradley, even though you won your first week, I mean, we already know you're going to screw it up somehow. So just take CMC, go and slide him on the bench, and get yourself at least $5, recuperate 10% of your investment so far in this league. That's what I'd do, but I don't have CMC, so not even worth it for me. Josh, I saw you put down a team name update. I didn't think this was worth noting, but I didn't want to delete your note. Do you want to go ahead and read your team name update?
What do you mean? We're not going to lie to the people. There was a team name update.
But we're not going to do this every week. We're not the victorious POD. We just did it on the first week because people got new teams, new players.
Yeah, but this one, it's a big one because Nikita went from, I believe, Dak Knight Rises to Team Mitchell. So
back to Team Mitchell name. For what it's worth. She's been Team Mitchell before, and then we gave her shit. I was like, Nikita, get yourself a better fucking team name. And then she went to Dak Knight Rises. We were all proud of her. And now she's back to Team Mitchell. Nikita, what are you doing, pal?
She updated her team name. What more do you want?
Unbelievable.
She didn't have Dak anymore, so she updated her team name.
This shows she's only possible of one team name as long as Dak's on her team. Huh? She can't do anything else.
Yeah, I guess.
And for what it's worth to all you people out there calling me a sexist, even though I'm hashtag feminist, hashtag girl power, I tried to get Nikita on the pod today. She refused. So just let it be known I tried. Walters, I don't want to see your hate in the chat. But so that's it, Josh. You definitely had the best performance out of the week. Do you want to talk about stomping the reigning champ?
I mean, I just did exactly what I did 2 years ago when I won it, and I focused wide receiver heavy and said, you know what, I'll find a running back later on. And so Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill, and Calvin Ridley were kind of my go-to players, and they performed for me. But then I got, a touchdown out of Todd Gurley. Cam Newton did well. So I was overall pretty happy with my performance. And then I still have some solid players on the bench, I feel. So I like my team. Now that I said that, though, plane crash, bunch of hurt people. I don't know. I'm not going to get too high yet just because it's a long season. God, how'd you do week 1? How'd T taste?
I mean, I didn't play T week 1. So nice
how'd Brad taste?
Nope, still wrong. I played Jesse week 1, and Jesse did obliterate me. He had the hops we talked about. He had the Mark Anders as well. Jesse put up 135 to my 97. I had Mark Ingram. I had... I don't know, Marlon Mack, a bunch of other people who underperformed. So it was not a good week 1 for Gar. There's no sugarcoating it there. But I got obliterated. I'm not seeing anything else in here that's really worth a significant honorable mention in this segment. So yeah, we'll just move on. Again, Hidden Oaks highlights won't be anything special until we get closer to playoff season. Or I guess, Josh, how do you do in the Dynasty League? Did you feel good about your performance? I know Connor seemed upset about it.
Yeah, I mean, I beat the three-headed dragon. Mr. bragging about having Zeke, McCaffrey, and I don't even know his third running back.
Does he have CMC? I think he might have CMC. Or did you say you said McCaffrey?
Zeke,
I know.
McCaffrey, and then
yeah. Shut up.
I forget who else. But apparently not good enough to beat my team.
Yeah. So, but I do play T this week, and then who do you play this week, Josh?
I haven't looked. Some team
I'll
that's
tell
going to
you.
be 0-2 or
You play Jer Bear. He is currently 0-1.
Oh.
You're playing the rookie Jeremy, who's got all the rookie running backs.
Yes, that is right. Yep, I'm going to beat him. I mean, I had Kareem Hunt go last night, so 24 points to start off on Thursday. I'll take it.
All right, Josh, we've got 15 minutes for this and the outro. So without further ado, we're going to move on to the brand new, overly hyped segment, our Fave Five. Josh, what is the premise for Fave Five? Go and let the folks know.
It is our top 5 of a certain category, randomly selected. I actually went through and I selected them all for the rest of the season. And so this week, though, we are going to talk about our favorite sports movies. And as you said in a text message, this was tough. We should have broken it down by subcategories too, like sports movies with, dancing, sports movies with cars, that sort of thing.
Yeah, comedy, sports movies based on real life. I mean, we definitely I definitely see us revisiting the sports movies category someday, but we wanted to stick with it, and we wanted the fans to play along. So, Josh, without further ado, but just before we hop in, so we had 3 fan submissions. We got Brian to give us his favorite 5, A-Dub, Audio Al to give us his favorite 5, and then Hammer gave us his favorite 5. Do we want to list theirs just rapid fire and go, this is what they thought? Because we're going to go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, you and I back and forth. Do we want to do them along with us, or do we want to do them separately from us?
Brian, you still in the chat? What do you think?
No, we're not going to sit here and wait for Brian to pie. I'm asking you, Josh.
We can do 5s all the way through.
All right, 5s all the way through. So we'll start with the fans because obviously our opinion is going to be superior to theirs. So this is sports movies. Where did the thing go? There it is. Okay, so we'll start out with Audio Al because he gave a description with his, which Hammer and Brian did not. So I don't want to say you've been showed up, Hammer and Brian, but you have. Number 5 for Audio Al, Air Bud, basketball playing golden retriever. What's not to like? Josh, how do you feel about the Air Bud? Good movie, bad movie?
It's a classic. Can't go wrong with it. So D+ pick. B+.
All right, we got Brian. He put The Color of Money. And I was going to Google this movie, but I never did. Do you have any idea what that movie is about? Because I have no clue.
Green. That's The Color of Money, so I'm guessing green.
Oh, nailed it. And to be clear, in case anyone doesn't know, we talk about Brian a lot, but Brian, compared to us, is ancient. He rode a dinosaur to and from school. His neighbor was Fred Flintstone. And to Brian's credit, his family actually invented if you ever watched the Flintstones, the foot-propelled car, the Knupp family actually invented that. So shout out to Brian, but this dude is old. So
go on.
I'll just say his Fave Five will reflect that.
A teaser for you is, well, I guess, yeah, you just said that, but I believe he has one movie post 1995 in this list.
He put in the chat, Paul Newman pool with Tom Cruise. I don't know if he's saying swimming pool or playing like pool on a pool table, but billiards. Anyways, all right. And then we have Hammer. So this is a movie I consider, just for a moment for mine, Kicking and Screaming. Are you familiar with this movie, Josh?
Is it the soccer movie with Will Ferrell?
Absolute classic of a movie. Kicking and Screaming. He is I think it's a elementary school or middle school soccer coach. I'm pretty sure Didka's in that movie. Just a weapon of a movie. I love it. But, Josh, we kept our list a secret from each other because we didn't want it to be ruined. So I have my list separately here, and you put in a bunch of joke answers for yours. But, Josh, your 5th favorite sports movie of all time.
Ours. It's not a joke.
All right, pal. I know it's a joke.
See, I kept it secret, but I actually kept it in the notes. And I just did it in white font. So,
Big brain. How you doing, pal?
so I'm going to update the spreadsheet live with. Oh, it's still Cars.
You don't got to be that fancy with it. I mean, just you should know what yours.
I had Southpaw, the boxing movie with Jake Gyllenhaal.
Ooh,
Kind of an emotional ride. I liked it. It's action. It's got some drama in there, ups and downs. I mean, like you, I had a hard time with this. I've seen a lot of sports movies in my time, so I could probably go through and make a new favorite Fave Five, and have all different movies.
A completely different 5. I concur. Just so it's clear, I can talk about how I ranked this or how I gave it my favorite 5. I love movies. And how I kind of gauged my favorite 5 is movies I would rewatch, because there's certainly a million great sports movies out there. But for it to be my personal favorite, because this is an objective top 5, this is Fave 5, so my favorite. I picked movies that I've watched plenty of times, because I rewatch movies, and I rewatch movies I like a lot. So for my number 5, Josh, I'm going to guess you've never heard of this movie. I think a lot of the listeners haven't, but mine, a rugby-based movie out of South Africa, Invictus. It's got Morgan Freeman. It's got Matt Damon. It's an absolutely... I mean, I'm a sucker for movies, and I love this movie. So if you're a movie critic, it might be a bad movie just based on, critical dumb movie stuff, but I love the movie, and so that's why it's my number 5.
Moving on to number 4s. We start with A-Dub. So A-Dub, his number 4. Oh, you have the notes up for him, so you want to read A-Dub's?
Well, it's just real quick. He's got Fired Up. Jocks Becoming Cheerleaders, very underrated movie. And I can say I've never heard of this movie.
I've heard of it, and I can honestly say never interested me. Sorry, A-Dub. Moving on to Hammer, he has another classic with Happy Gilmore. Not going to disagree. It's a good movie. I like it.
Great movie. All right, I guess I'll take Brian. Brian put Major League as his number 4. I feel very confident that's a baseball movie, but it's certainly not a baseball movie I have seen.
What? Even I've seen that.
Nah, I'm more of an Angels in the outfield kind of guy. Watching that at Sharon's.
That almost made my list. So
I thought about
Major League did too.
But does Major League have Charlie Sheen? I think it's coming back.
Yes.
I haven't seen the movie, but I'm familiar with the memes of it and all that. Yeah.
Yeah. So moving on to my number 4, we have got. See, I don't even remember my list, so I actually do have to. I have Field of Dreams as my number 4.
Wow. Did Barrero slip you a 20 to put that in there or what?
I actually really like that movie. I've seen it. Like, it's one of those movies that I own, and I've watched it when I own it. But whenever it's on TV, it's one of those movies I'll stop and watch. It's emotional. It's got it's what's his name in it? Jeez, now I don't even remember the main actor's name. Brian, help. Not Dennis Quaid, is it?
Josh, I don't think I've ever seen it.
I think it's Dennis Quaid. But yeah, no, it's just an overall great movie, and it's about baseball. What's not to like?
That's true. My number 4, Hammer, you and I, same wavelength, Happy Gilmore. I've seen that movie a million times. Guy shouldn't have been fucking standing there. I mean, just a great movie. We could go on and on about Happy Gilmore, but we got 7 minutes left, so I want to keep moving. Happy Gilmore, my number 4. And I'll go through all the number 3s of the other guys, just to speed it up, Josh. Number 3 for A-Dub is Like Mike. Always gave me hopes and dreams of my shoes making me all-pro. So A-Dub, we all had that. We all wanted those magic shoes, but we never got them, did we? Hammer has got the Mighty Ducks. Hammer's a big hockey guy, so he's got Mighty Ducks at number 3. Speaking of another big hockey guy, Brian's got Miracle for his number 3. I was thinking about Miracle. I'm a sucker for movies based on real life. Obviously, they're dramatized and not real and this and that, but I love movies based on real life events. So Miracle almost made my 5, Brian, but I respect it at 3. Josh, what is your 3?
Warrior. It's an MMA movie starring Tom Hardy, Nick Nolte. It was straight to DVD apparently, or streaming service, and I stumbled upon it once upon a time in college, and ended up buying it. I've seen that movie maybe a dozen times. Nikita could probably quote it. She's watched it so much with me.
Damn, Nikita.
I mean, it's a great movie. So I like it a lot.
All right, and then my number 3 movie I've watched. It's a newer movie, but it's a movie I've probably already watched 5 to 10 times. Moneyball, an absolute classic of a movie. Brad Pitt, Jonah Hill. You just got to get on base, motherfucker. Yeah, I don't know. I love Moneyball. Again, movies based on real life, they get me for some reason, even if they're critically bad or poorly made movies. The story is what gets me. It's what hooks me. So, love Moneyball. Billy Bean. I look up to you, Josh. I'll take Al's number 2, and you can get the other number 2s. Audio Al has got The Ringer for his number 2 favorite sports movie of all time, and his note is just, when the fuck did we get ice cream? If you're not familiar with The Ringer, we probably shouldn't get too deep into it, but look it up. Absolute classic.
Hammer had The Karate Kid as his number 2. I'm assuming he's watching Cobra Kai as well right now, so good pick there. And then Brian had Field of Dreams, so Brian likes Field of Dreams as well. I had $1 Million Baby. Gar, have you seen that movie? It is a boxing movie with Hilary Swank and Morgan Freeman's in it, and it is an amazing movie. I mean, yeah, I've teared up watching that movie. It is so good. But yeah, I won't spoil it for you. What's your number 2?
I'll probably never watch it. My number 2, Josh, and disappointed I didn't hear this in your list at all, so I guess you're a fucking stooge. But number 2, my favorite sports movie of all time, The Flint, Michigan Mega Bowl itself, Semi-Pro, ELE, Everybody Love Everybody. That movie's a classic. I've probably seen that movie 15 to 20 times. I mean, are you kidding me? Everybody Love Everybody. It's such a great player, owner, coach, Jackie Moon. I mean, can you get any better than that? You can, because I put it as my number 2, but what an absolute legacy of a movie. That movie is all time. Will Ferrell, great comedy, Semi-Pro. Let's keep going, though. Al's number 1, Audio Al. Speaking of Will Ferrell, this man has Blades of Glory as his favorite sports movie all time. The Iron Lotus, I swear to God, if you cut my head off. He didn't put that, though. He put classic Will Ferrell comedy with the Napoleon Dynamite bonus. Plus Pam Beesly in her undergarments, need I say more? And that's true. I mean, watching that movie as a teenager, I'm sure there were plenty of horny teens, including Brad, maybe Josh, certainly myself, that were very excited to see Pam Beesly in her lingerie. Moving on to Hammer. He's got Mystery Alaska, his number 1 favorite sports movie of all time. I have no idea what that is. My heart wants to tell me it's some sort of dog sledding movie, but do you have any idea what that movie is, Josh? Because I don't.
I don't. No.
Sorry, Hammer, we can't respect it. But moving on to Brian, he's got Caddyshack. Again, showing his age. Doesn't make it a bad movie at all, but Caddyshack is an absolute classic of a movie. And Brian, I respect that you picked it as your favorite and not something more serious. Josh, you a gopher right now?
Yeah.
What's your favorite sports movie all time, Josh?
This might just be recency bias, but actually it's not. Remember the Titans. And that is my number 1 go-to sports movie.
Good movie.
It gives me the chills. It's one of those movies where you could probably quote front or beginning to end, but it never gets old.
Great.
Dar, go.
I can't disagree, but for mine, I went the comedy route, and this is not only one of my top favorite sports movies all time, probably top 3 movies of any genre all time. I got the Ricky Bobby, Cal Naughton Jr., Shake and Bake, Talladega Nights. Are you kidding me? NASCAR's a fucking sport. Talladega Nights is one of the greatest movies ever created. I've probably seen that movie 30 to 40 times. I love it. There ain't nothing more terrifying than driving with a live cougar in the car. You got a kilo of Colombian Bam Bam under the car. Cops are coming. Time to be a man. Speed or jail. Ugh. It's just a great movie. All right, Josh, we have got 2 minutes left. That was the Fave Five. We loved people playing along. If you didn't get yours in before, get them in after. Send us your top favorite 5 sports movies. But Josh, what is our top 5 or Fave Five segment for next week or topic?
It'll be your non-homer, so not your home team, active football players. Non-quarterback. So obviously quarterbacks are the flashy ones and a lot of people like them, but we're going to go for the non-homer active football players.
Yeah, so hopefully you're taking notes. Again, can't be Vikings, no Packers, nothing like that. They got to be playing. They can't be quarterbacks, so like a Julio Jones, a James Conner, that'd be fine. But your
what about should we do a live air, change this, and just do non-division?
Sure, you could do non-NFC North favorite. That's fine.
Yeah.
All right, but anyways, Josh, let's jump into the outro because, again, we've got 1 minute left, and I can do this outro in under a minute. I know the stream's already over, so chat, don't blow me up on that. But we got 60 seconds here. Josh, you did great today. I did great as well. Stay safe out there. COVID's still real. Political climate is scary. HiddenOaksOverdose@gmail.com, Facebook.com/HoodPod, Anchor.fm/HoodPod. HiddenOaksOverdose.com exists. Josh, I don't know if there's much for the fans there other than our league history if you're in the redraft league. That's pretty interesting. I don't know if we've ever shared that. But HiddenOaksOverdose.com is a website we own. Josh, you have anything you want to say?
Go Packers.
Oh, Josh, you want to go to the Elk Mound Crafts Fair?
Go Packers.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
So, I mean, with the song, it's going to be over, but I don't care. We did it. We're at 59 right now, Josh. I'm feeling pretty hype.
That's pretty good. And I'll clean up my 2-minute drill. Sorry, Brian.
The chat got pretty quiet after a while. I think they became disinterested as we go. So, I mean, your classic attitude, and I didn't see it today, but your classic attitude of just wearing on the pod as it goes was not lost on the chat. They didn't really seem to give us any input with our Fave Five, so I mean that's okay, chat. If you had to leave us or if you fell asleep, I get it, but
it's way past Brian's bedtime.
Oh, that's true.
Yep. All right. Well, I'm gonna go make dinner, and I will talk to you later.
Bye. Say hi to the missus for me.
Will do.
Miss you already.